Good evening, people, and good evening, good evening. It has been a few weeks, but we're here. Last week we had a rerun and from one of our tournament games, and the week before that we had our Bremen event, and the week before that we had our No Surrender, Return to the Realms, and Awaken the Beast event. And the week before that we that was the last episode we had actually. So I'm very happy to be back. As you can see, I'm alone, and it has a very good reason. And the reason is COVID, simply. Stefan, he works as a nurse, and the thing is that during this COVID epidemic, which has been increasing again, he needed to be on his job on the Friday night. So yeah, that's why I'm alone. Kind of sad because it usually means that I cannot talk with someone about the way I think. So please, in chat, just say stuff that you want to know in chat. So I have a little. So I'm not so alone, because sometimes I feel not alone is the wrong word, but yeah, I really want to talk with someone and don't have a very long monologue. So what are we going to talk today? Today we're going to have a few things to talk about. First of all, we're going to come up with our tournament news because, yeah, as some of you may know, we had to cancel one of our events. We're going to talk about what's going to happen in the future. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the outcomes of the two events, the No Surrender 40k event and the Age of Sigmar Return to the Realms Grand Tournament. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask them. And for those of you watching, you'll get a little scoop of what's going to happen in the future. Because hopefully next week we'll have three of our new products actually. So it won't be terrain this time, it will be accessories. And some of you may have seen the previews, but let's hope our objective markers for 40k will be in at that time. We're very happy to have these almost ready, and they're currently somewhere in the ocean, on a boat, on its way here. So we're very happy to know that. So let's start off with some tournament news. Most of you have had an email. Most of you know or have seen that we had to cancel our super major event in November at the Jaarbeurs Utrecht, and we had to postpone it till next year in September. It was a very hard thing to in the end make that call, and it still hurts to not work for that anymore. We had to build a lot of terrain, we had to build a lot of stuff, we had to build a lot of things, but we would have done it with so much joy to see the biggest tournament in the world happen for this year, for 2021 or for 2020, but yeah, we simply could not do that anymore with the current COVID regulations. COVID regulations have become really strict in Holland, quite a lot, and let's just say that's going to be, let's hope it's going to change in the near future. We really needed to change in the near future because this, for us as Alliance Open and Alliance Armory, it's very hard to keep switching from online content. We just want to do events, we just want to do events and see everyone, because I think I wanted to hug a lot of people the last 3 weeks during the events. I could not, but it was a blast to see everyone rolling dice, to see that everyone wants to uphold to the COVID regulations and still have a lot of fun. And that's what we're going to talk about, because in the end, there actually was there were a lot of people saying, well, it was the same as a normal event, except with face masks. And that's so that was the opinion of some people. Some were a little less happy, but that's it. It's not a problem. Okay, so we had to postpone our event, meaning that for people who had the ticket, the ticket will be transferred to next year in September, still in the Jaarbeurs Utrecht. And for those who still want a refund, well, it is possible. But if we don't hear anything from you, it's just going to be a voucher, or it's going to be transferred to next year. And if you want to have a voucher for Alliance Armory for the money you already gave us for your ticket, that's also possible. So we currently still have a long list of players who are like transferring to next year, so that's going to be awesome. And we really want to thank the community for showing us that you still trust us with your funds, so you know that we're gonna have a perfect tournament. I mean, we're gonna see it later on today. Is that the event actually was one of the best events in my opinion for 40K. There are even some upsides for the COVID regulations. I don't know. It's not good, but you know, it's not the baddest thing to happen. That also means though that there will be more tickets available for the Super Major in September. Because some people will have to cancel or would like a refund, and there will be more places. So we currently are at over 200 players still. So just to make sure for you guys, so you know, if you still want to come and you want to make sure that you have a ticket for next year's September, so it's still quite a long way to go. But if you want to make sure to get your tickets. As simple as that. Okay. And I can actually tell you that for upcoming events, we are currently working on the new Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament rules pack. And if COVID allows it, we will do an event in February at the Van der Valk, in another room than people are used to, but we'll still try to do an Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament. And we're going to try to make it as big as possible, so at least 30 people, and we're currently talking with Van der Valk on what's possible and what's not possible. See if we can split the event in 2 rooms or something, and just to make sure that we can still keep doing events. We are also looking into other locations where we can do small RTTs, and I already talked with some people from the community and with some other people, and we're gonna bring back our tabletop simulator tournaments, which will also be we will provide prize support for those events. So we are currently looking at how to fill that in and how we're gonna do it, but we really want to make sure that we keep like providing the community with ways to play these awesome games. Okay, so keep up on our Facebook, on our Twitch, on our Instagram, and whatever. We'll talk soon. I think we're going to talk next week about what events we'll be doing. So I'm not going to promise anything, but make sure to watch next week to this Friendly Fire Fridays again, and make sure that you get your information on what events we'll be doing. Next up, I'm gonna tell you what will be available for the upcoming 2 weeks when it comes to new products. As some of you may have seen during our events, we had the plan to do a super major high roller package, meaning people would pay a certain price to get coins for the event so you can drink, but you'll also get a lot of merchandise from the Alliance Open. The merchandise is already like on its way when we canceled it. So that's the thing that's gonna be available from next week. Will be the things that would have been added to the high roller package. And some of it was really like an extra, but some of it is like a really important thing to have during your games. And of course, I'm talking about the objective markers. The game has objective markers, and normally you would use a Terminator base because it's 40 millimeters. And we made sure to have neoprene mats, which has the 40 millimeters center and then 3 inch to the sides. So as long as you stand on the mouse mat or on a neoprene you are claiming the objective. We are very happy with the designs, and I can actually can I show it to you? No, it's very hard to show it to you at the moment, but we are working on making all these products available on our website, and we will show you next week. And next to that, we will have an Alliance Open dice bag. And the dice bag will be, of course, will be a simple dice bag with our logo on it. And it would have a divider in the middle so you can have certain dice or tokens on the one side and the rest on the other side, making it very useful for your games. And as some of you may have seen, during our events, we gave away dice trays to make sure that everything was up to COVID regulations, so everyone had their own dice tray. It was free. It was like a goodie. But we also have a more luxurious dice tray, which is coming our way. It will be an hexagonal dice tray made from leather and what was the other, like not felt, but well, let's say it's very sturdy, and it's on its way as well. And we'll show it as soon as possible on the website. This also means that we will be providing you with an Alliance Open like a package, which will have everything you need. So dice, a dice tray, a dice bag, objective markers, and one of our water bottles. Some of you may already seen our water bottles. Those are silicones, and that I can show you actually because I use it a lot of the time as well. Whoop, whoop. And it's this guy over here, and it has, of course, it has our logo on it. It's not that big, so our logo. Whoop, whoop. And you can actually make it smaller, and you can put it on your side of your belt if you want, so you can make it smaller. And it will have actually quite a lot. It's like half a liter or even bigger. People. Yeah, that will be added as well. So just to make sure that everyone has their own bottle, and we won't have to use any more water bottles because, you know, think about the environment. It is actually medical silicones, so you can put it in a dishwasher, and you can just keep refilling it, and it won't leave any chemicals behind in the water, so it won't get poisonous at all. So I think that's very good. Okay, let's see who's in the chat currently. It's not too busy yet, but it's okay. So keep up to date with all our new products. They will be shown on everything that we have. Next week we'll have a big order going in from our supplier for our MDF terrain kits, and I'll start working on new Age of Sigmar terrain. Most of the people were really happy with the tables on the Age of Sigmar tournament. But what I did, I bought a lot of aquarium plants for your aquarium, and I'm gonna make a forest out of them, or some alien stuff, or some orky stuff, or whatever. So I'm gonna try and make it a little more versatile because we have a lot of terrain, but it's sometimes like a little bit of the same, which is good. But we really want to diversify and make as much different tables as possible. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the events we did, because I think that's a lot of things people wanna chat about. I want to see what was what during our events. Of course, our 40K event was before the release of the Space Marine Codex, meaning that some of the lists that were at the event are like not the best list currently, especially with all the new rules, because the Space Marines really did a number on all the lists. Actually, you cannot just have the same list that you were using before. So that's let's see what that does to the meta. But I'm gonna start with the No Surrender as the first event. And I'm gonna just talk about the list for the top 3, and I'm gonna start with the list from Daniel van den Berg, who had 3 games. He won all 3 of them. He won one with 65-38, one with 85-7, and one with 90-30. He played, let's see, he played Grey Knights. He played Necrons. He played against Grey Knights, Necrons, and what was the last one? Let's see. It was against Frank. I just don't know what Frank has for a list. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. And he played against Frank, so he played 3 games, won all 3 of them. And the thing is that he... Okay, that's weird. I have to check. Woo, give me a second. There we go. So Frank, he played Frank, who played Chaos, and let's see what he played himself. Daniel was playing Adeptus Astartes. So the list from Daniel, the number 3, was a Salamanders list with long-range marksmen and master artisans. So he was a Salamander successor, which also means that the list he would have at that event he will never use again, because master artisans and long-range marksmen has both been changed to a certain degree, which made them a lot less effective. So he had a captain, which was, let's see, he had a Thief of Terra, he had a Primaris Lieutenant, he had 3 scout squads, then he had an Aggressor squad of 3 with Flamestorm Gauntlets, he had 2 Invictor Tactical Warsuits, both with the Flamers. Then he had 2 Inceptor squads with Assault Bolters, 1 Outrider squad with just 3 of them, 2 Eradicator squads, a Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, and a Storm Tailor gunship. So simply put, he had a very strong Astartes, Adeptus Astartes list with a lot of bodies and a lot of vehicles. So I think that he was very happy that when he saw that he did not play anything with Haywire, any Harlequins or stuff like that. But it was of course it's a very solid list. I wonder if what would change from his list if we would make it again now. So let's move on to the next one. I'm gonna go to the list from Rude. We actually played Harlequins, that I know. A Rude. So Rude was playing Harlequins, and he was playing the Midnight Sorrow mask. He had a Shadow Seer with a different roll, so -1 to wound for infantry, and he had the Veil of Illusion, which means -6 inch to range attacks against Midnight Sorrow units within 6 inches. So he really had a good trick against all those flamers, which we'll see after this event. And he had a Troop Master with automatic 2 mortal wounds when he fights something, which is very good for 65 points. And he has a very good relic, the Twilight Fang, and he has reroll to wound in the fight phase for Midnight Sorrow units within 6. So he actually had 2 HQs, which are very much centered around making sure that his army works the best, and when he needs to, he can actually do a lot of damage with the Troop Master. So then he had 3 times 5 troops and 3 times 10 troops. And he had, let's see, 5 fusion pistols. He had 1 group with 5 fusion pistols and Harlequin blades, 1 with 5 shuriken pistols and Harlequin blades, 1 group with 5 caresses and Harlequin blades, and then he had the 3 troop choice, like from 10 troops, is like caresses, kisses, and blades in the mix. So he can actually really say, okay, if I want to charge this unit, I really need like 10 troops with kisses and caress or whatever. So he can actually like pinpoint everything that he needs to. Then he had a Death Jester. Also with a new role, the Humbling Cruelty, meaning that if you hit something, there's no overwatch and -2 to your move. He had a Solitaire with the role Blitz, 1 times per game, +2 attacks and +2d6 move till the end of the turn. With, of course, the Sacarax Rose, the extra relic, meaning that he like kicks ass and chew bubblegum because he's so freaking strong. And then he had 3 units of Sky Reavers, 2 units of 3, and 1 unit of 5 with the Haywire Cannons, making sure to kill all those vehicles. And then he had 3 boats, 3 Star Weavers with 2 Shuriken Cannons. So the thing with this army is that it's so damn quick, and it really ignores a lot of things in the like the falling back and charge, falling back and shoot, stuff like that. Things that were like the big changes in 9th edition, where if you fall back you cannot shoot even with fly units. Well, this guy says, I don't give a really, I don't give a shit, let's go. So this is a list that you will see a lot. He actually took a different list, I think, to Bremen, or maybe exactly the same, and he did good as well. So currently he is number 2 in the world for Harlequins and number 4 globally or something. So he's doing quite well. And then let's go to the winner. And the winner will be an Orc player, which is Ruben. And he, you actually had the chance to see him on stream with the last game. And he plays Death Skills with a War Boss, with the biggest boss, the Killer Claw, so and Brutal but Cunning, so you don't want to be in combat with him. He had 10 Gretchens, a unit of Tank Busters, 3 Shock Jump Dragstas, with the custom job Gyroscope Whirligig, meaning that he can easily do a lot of stuff with the jumping and stuff. He's very fast. Then he had a Blitzer Bomber and a Burner Bomber. He had a truck. He had a 2nd detachment, also Death Skulls, with a Big Mac with a custom force field, 2 times 5 commandos, 3 Megatrack Scrap Jets in 1 unit, and then another unit Megatrack Scrap Jet, and then another unit, a Megatrack Scrap Jet, and then he had 2 extra flyers, which were the Wisdom Blaster Jet. So he had 4 flyers and a lot of buggies, simply put. The thing with the army was that it was very beautiful. It was, I think it was one of the most beautiful armies. That he actually won 2nd place with for Best Painted because of the amount of conversions that he did. The conversions were insane. So if you still want to look at that, just make sure that you look at our Facebook, because we had a lot of pictures for that. And he won the last game against Blood Angels. And one of the good things about this army is that he only has 1 Burner Bomber. And what he simply does is, okay, you have to screen a lot, or you have to have a perfect screen. And if you don't screen well, you have a big problem, because he will just fly in the middle or bomb you, and then he's going to auto-explode for 3 more wounds for everything within 6 inches. I think it's an insane stratagem. I think it's a little bit too good, actually, because it's an auto-take. And in my opinion, if you make a list for Warhammer 40k, and there's a unit that you automatically take, and it is not a troop choice or an HQ choice, then I think the data sheet is too good. Because if I don't know, I think it's just problematic. If something like that, against me, it did 21 mortal wounds in 1 turn. Yeah, so I can see that Eichel, my brother, is on. So hi Peter, good to see you. He says the Nightbringer is also an auto take. I've seen the stats. It is insane. Having a unit with 9 wounds, and you can only get 3 wounds a phase, and it has so much damage output with the D6 damage for a weapon, and well, it's just insane. So I really love the Nightbringer as a model, and I really hope to see it on the table. But if it's an auto take, I have a strong opinion about it. Let's just keep it at that. Yeah, I see what you mean. It only has movement 8, but with the new with the new size, movement 8 is actually not bad because you usually be there at turn 3, and most armies have a difficult time when it needs to do 2 times 3 wounds in a different phase. So we'll see what happens. The meta has to shape up, so it's going to be a lot of things changing in the future. So I'm not going to give my final word on it, but I think it's very, very good. Yeah, and I really love it because the Necrons really had a very good. I think it has a very good play time at the moment, simply because it's one of the first relics, of course, but but it will also be a very good army in the end. So let's see. He played actually. I can actually tell you that. So Ruben actually played against Orcs. He played against Custodes, against Christian Gaillard, and he played against Alex, who was a Necron player as well. So I think Ruben, I think the Orcs are in a very good spot right now because they can play the secondaries very well. And you can actually say, okay, I'm going to pick 2 secondaries, which I will always max out. So usually engage on all fronts, or maybe even with his list, you can maybe even go for behind enemy lines. And you take another secondary for 15 points, so you have a 30 points like every turn. And with so many units, you can easily make up a lot of primaries. So I think it's a very solid base to play around and to max out a lot of points. Just to give you an idea, Ruben scored 85, 85, 85. And I actually think that he just took Scramblers, took Engage on All Fronts, and then another one, and then maxed out on his primaries. That seems like a very good way. To give you an idea, Daniel actually had the highest strength of schedule. Ruben had 4,285 points, Ruud had 4,277 points, and Daniel had 4,268 points. So it's a differential of 17 points, but Daniel had like a strength of schedule of 1,800 points, while the other two had 1,500. So that's actually a very big difference. And that's also, yeah, it's an RTT, so you only play 3 games, so that happens. This is okay, but that's why I really like GTs, to make sure that that you have a true winner in the end. So 40k was a blast. I really like that we had the standardized terrain tables at the top 20 tables, I guess. We also did the Bremen event. We also had a lot of standardized tables, and almost everyone was happy with the way it played. We really thought it out very well. We really made sure that you had that you have a very good gaming experience, and that's the most important thing of all. And in the end, it looks beautiful. If you would have told me two years ago they were going to go this way, I would have said, nah, Alliance Open won't do that. But in the end, I'm very happy that we did. It takes a lot of time from setting up an event. That's one. And it actually looks kind of aesthetic in the end to have a table like that in for the top tables. For the September event, which will be 10 months away from now, or 9 even, 11 events a month from now, we're gonna have, I think it's gonna be half of the tables, or maybe the top 40 tables will have standardized terrain. We currently have 25, 30 standardized tables. We're gonna build 10 more tables in the upcoming months for with our new Necronian, Ecronian, and our new Elven architecture sets, and maybe even more if that's possible. We'll see in the end. So the people were very happy that they could roll some dice again. The lunch was well taken care of by Van der Valk. Everyone was wearing their face mask very well. We only had to do 2 official warnings, and during COVID regulation, it was very easy for us. If we give you 1 warning, the second warning is the second time you're out. Especially with the COVID numbers rising, we simply cannot have any. We cannot be a spreader event, as some of you may understand. So the Age of Sigmar event. The Age of Sigmar event was 2 days. It was a grand tournament as well, and we played 5 games, and we had a really good day. And in the end, Nico won the event with Legion of Grief. Number 3 was Ignas with Seraphon. And number 2 was Paul Poissy with Kharadron Overlords. And Kharadron Overlords was actually the biggest group of players had Kharadron Overlords, so that was not a surprise there. It simply is a very good list at the moment. And for me, it was not a real surprise that Nico in the end won the event. To give you an idea, Ignas played 5 games. He played Seraphon. He played against Olaf, which was Eels. So that's I keep forgetting the name. Aina Tiefkin. He played Rutger, who played Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Then he played Teun, who played Chaos Ascendants, or the things with Be'lakor and with a lot of I don't know, Demon Prince and stuff, which was beautiful. And he played Neil, who plays Orcs, or the Big Wag. So Ignas had 4 wins, Paul had 4 wins, and Nico in the end had 5 wins. So we had a true winner. Let me take a sip. In the end, we had 30 players. Am I saying that correctly? Yeah, we had 30 players, and we had a very good event. I really wanted to have Stefan here because he's I'm currently deep diving into Age of Sigmar, so I'm listening to a lot of stuff from the Honest Wargaming. I'm looking at lists that are online. I'm looking at tournaments. Just to make sure that next time I will be better at seeing what is what, and I can actually help during the stream. And I can actually do a better review than I would do now. There has been a lot of comments about the terrain. People were very happy to how all of the tables looked. There were a few things. So they said you could not be on top of terrain when you can. Well, like the wobbly model syndrome for 40k should not be allowed in AOS, because you can have like if this would be would be a hill or something, you could put a Kharadron Overlord ship on here and it can never be charged, stuff like that, which should not be impossible. So we are currently working on a new GT pack, which will be released next week, the first draft, and there's a lot of rule changes that are going to be implied. I actually still have to do a talk with Fabian on things that we should improve. We are very thankful for the community that they showed up, and we had a lot of fun. I think it was better than last Grand Tournament, and I think that in 2021 we're going to do an even better one and make this make the next rules pack the thing that the community wants. There were a few things that people disliked, and there was one that was a major one, that was the random missions. So I can actually give you a promise and say that's not going to happen at the next event. We'll have fixed battle plans, but we won't have fixed realms. So the realms will still be random, which is very good in my opinion. I really like the fact that the realms are random now, and that the realms really have an effect on terrain. So all the terrain will have a feature. Uh, and we are also seeing what we can do to make it an even more streamlined event as well. We're gonna have a talk in a few weeks with the guys, and we'll be live on for the ticket release, because we're gonna do the ticket release in about 2 or 3 weeks. Simply because we think that a lot of people want to have an event to work up to, and even though we cannot be sure with the current COVID regulations that everything can go through, we still want to make sure that we have people knowing that we are still working on our upcoming events. Since I'm alone right now, I think this actually is I think we actually talked a lot about a few of the events. So I'm just gonna do Nico's event and tell you what he did, and then in the end, I'm gonna call it a night and say let's see you next week, and see that we can maybe add someone in here to do a little more talking. So Nico plays Legion of Grief, and Legion of Grief is actually a very like niche list, which has a very strong ability saying that you can bring back units that are dead. And he has let me open my list real soon. So his list is a Dreadblade Harrow. And why does he take a Dreadblade Harrow? Because he can actually just teleport, and I mean that's it. That's actually it's not what won him the tournament. Was a very important part of his plan. That if you leave one of your back objectives alone, you can say in the end, okay, I'm just gonna teleport my Dreadblade over there, and then I get a lot of points. Then he has a Necromancer with Dread Withering. Then he has a Guardian of Souls with Nightmare Lantern 2 times. So he has 4 leaders. Then he has as units, he has Blade Geist Revenants, 2 Chain Ghasts, 40 Chain Rasp Horde times 2, and another unit of Chain Rasp of 10, 5 Dire Wolves, and 30 Grimghast Reapers. So that's he has 174 wounds. He has no extra command points, and he has only 1 artifact, which is the Gotizari Mortuary Candle. And let me just look it up real quick what it does, because that actually is interesting for me. One second. Isn't that? It's okay. So let me check. Legion of Grief. Too bad. It's not easily. I cannot find it easily. So I'll just look it up later on. So what he did was flood the board usually, and then make sure that he has like full board control. He doesn't need to, I mean, he needs to kill stuff, but it's not like the main thing that he does. He just floods the board really soon, and then in the end he will win the event. He has played 5 games. He plays against Olaf in round 5. So that's round 1. It was 19-1 versus Quadrant Overlords. 19-1 against the Seraphon from Wendy, 19-1 against Douwe, which was, let's see what it was. It was Chinch. 16-4 against Paul with his Quadrant Overlords, and then 14-6 against the Eels from Olaf. So he had lots of variety playing against stuff. And he played 2 times Quadrant Overlords, which is, I mean, it's one of the stronger battle tomes at the moment, but it is not really forgiving if you make a mistake. I've looked at a few of his games, and he played very, very, very strong. He had max painting points. He had max format and legal points. So in the end, he had 107 points against 99 from Paul. So it was a very good good score for him. Uh, Wait, that's weird. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So, people, I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter than usual. I was very happy to do this for the first time again, and I'm gonna do it again next week because Stefan will not be there again, and I'm gonna see if I can get maybe Peter or Dick or CJ into the call and have a longer talk for Bremen, because Bremen really needs to have a lot of talk, because that was, in my opinion, one of the best events I've went to, even though I was very tired after 3 days of traveling and stuff. I mean, just to give you an idea, I went on Friday morning. I went to Rotterdam from Breda. I went to pick up Stefan. We traveled to Bremen in 4.5 hours. We set up the whole event with, like, we had a lot of help from the community, so which we are very thankful for that. But we had like we had 2 days of event managing with 120 players, just to give you an idea, of 100 players in the end. And we had 2 rooms. Stefan was on stream together with Sebastian and Benjamin. Then we had Daniel, which was like, he's like my guardian angel from now on, as TO for like as an extra judge. So he gave away his play tickets to be our judge. So still, thank you from the bottom of my heart again. I cannot say this enough. And I think we did what we could, and we are very happy that we could still do it, because if we would have done it a week later, it was not possible. So for all you people who have been watching, thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe to our Twitch. Make sure to check out our Patreon. Make sure to check out all our new events, new stuff that's going to come up in the upcoming weeks. And just to make sure to check out if you... I wanted to say something, but I just completely forgot. Thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye-bye, guys.